Kayla had been home alone before. She was 27, newly single, after walking away from a 6-year relationship that had drained her spirit like slow poison. Her friends called it bravery. She called it survival. That Thursday night, the silence in her little rental cottage outside Perth didn't feel right. The rain tapped on the tin roof like fingernails, and the power flickered every few minutes. She thought it was just the storm, until she heard it. A soft voice, calling her name, Kayla. She turned around. No one, but then she saw it. In the hallway mirror. A boy, standing behind her. Not moving, just staring. She spun around, heart in her throat, but no one was there, and the reflection, gone. The cottage was an old fixer-upper, quaint, affordable, and hers for the next 6 months. It had come with everything she needed: a working kitchen, a garden in the back, and a mirror that looked like it hadn't been touched in 50 years. She'd meant to take it down, but every time she tried to lift it off the wall, something strange happened. Her phone would ring, with no one on the other end, or she'd hear faint crying upstairs, even though there was no upstairs. Still, Kayla stayed. Why? Because she had nowhere else to go. After the breakup, she'd run, left her job, her apartment, her family. She needed to disappear. She never expected something else was waiting to find her. 3 days later, she found tiny fingerprints on her bathroom mirror, as if a child had pressed his hands against it. The weird part, she had wiped the mirror clean just that morning. She lived alone, no pets, no visitors, no kids. The fingerprints returned every night, always in the same shape, always facing inward. Then the phone started ringing again. Blocked number, dead silence, then static, then once a whisper, "He's coming back." Kayla didn't sleep that night. She locked the bedroom door, pushed a chair under the handle, and stared at the hallway mirror from across the room. Nothing happened until 3:17 a.m. That's when the mirror fogged up from the inside, and the words appeared, scrawled backwards like a child's messy handwriting. "Don't let him in." The next day, just before sunset, someone knocked at her door. Not a loud, desperate knock, just 3 gentle taps, like a child, or someone trying not to be heard. She peered out the side window, but the porch was empty. Then her phone buzzed, a photo message, from an unknown number. It was of her, standing at the window, looking out that the caption said, "Too late." Kayla froze. Her breath hitched. The phone slipped from her hand and cracked on the wooden floor, but she didn't hear it, because from the mirror, the whisper came again. Kayla opened the door. "I'm still here." And this time, the reflection wasn't hers. It was a boy crying, bleeding, smiling. Kayla, recovering from a traumatic breakup and living alone in a cheap cottage, begins experiencing terrifying things centered around a mysterious hallway mirror, a whisper, a boy's reflection, fingerprints, a message in fog, "Don't let him in." Then, a knock at the door, and a photo of herself, sent by someone watching from outside. But now, the mirror reveals a boy, crying, bleeding, smiling. Kayla ran, not away, but straight into the bathroom, slammed the door, and locked it. Her breath felt like ice in her chest. Her heart wasn't just pounding, it was screaming. She pressed her back to the cold tiles, staring at the crack beneath the door. Silence. Then, the creak of the hallway floorboards. Slow, measured. Someone, or something, was walking past. She covered her mouth. The mirror on the bathroom wall was fogging up again. Slowly, even though the room was cold. And then came the writing. "You saw him drown." She stared in disbelief. "No," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "No, I didn't." But deep inside, she knew that wasn't true. There are some memories you lock away, like a cursed box, because opening them would destroy you. Kayla was 13. The lake house was her grandparents'. Her parents were fighting again. She'd gone outside to get away from the shouting. That's when she met him. Tyler, 8 years old, skinny, quiet. He had big brown eyes that always looked scared, even when he smiled. She never asked who he was or why he was there. He just said he was visiting. They spent 2 hours playing by the water. Then, a scream, a splash, silence. She'd turned around, just in time, to see his hand sink below the surface, and she never told anyone. Kayla snapped out of it, shaking, breath fogging up the mirror. This time, the boy wasn't crying. He was staring directly at her. His lips moved in the reflection, though her own mouth stayed still. "Why did you walk away?" "I didn't know," she whispered. "You left me." Tears spilled down her face. "I was a kid," she said. "I didn't know what to do." The mirror went black, pitch black. That night, her phone rang again. Same blocked number. But this time, when she picked up, there was no static, just breathing, childlike, shaky, close. Then a whisper. "He's not the only one." Kayla's skin prickled. "What do you mean?" she whispered. But the line went dead. She walked to the hallway. The mirror now showed not just the boy, but another child behind him. A girl, blonde, pale, mouth sewn shut. Kayla backed away. Then came the knock again. 3 gentle taps. But this time, they weren't at the front door. They were coming from the inside of the hallway mirror. The next day, Kayla did what terrified people do. She pretended it wasn't real. She threw a towel over the mirror. She played loud music. She cleaned everything like her life depended on it. But in the middle of washing dishes, she looked up and gasped, because the hallway mirror's reflection still showed the boy, even though it was covered. He was sitting in a corner now, closer to the edge, still bleeding, still smiling. Kayla needed answers. She drove an hour to the closest town library. Small, dusty, and quiet. The woman at the front desk looked like she hadn't smiled since 1974. Kayla searched property records. That's when she found it. In 1996, a boy named Tyler Hammond drowned in the lake near the cottage. But that's not all. 4 other children had died mysteriously in or around the same property in the last 30 years. No convictions, no arrests. But each death had one strange thing in common. A mirror was always nearby. Kayla returned home, shaking. That night, she pulled the towel off the mirror and screamed. The boy was gone. Now there were 5 children in the reflection, all pale, all silent. She reached out toward the glass, and for the first time, it felt warm. Then a single sentence appeared. "Confess, or join us." She ran. Kayla packed her bags and drove to her friend Elisa's place. But that night, in Elisa's bathroom, something horrifying happened. When Kayla looked into the mirror, it was the hallway mirror. The same frame, the same crack, and the same child. "Running won't help," he whispered. Elise entered the room behind her, annoyed. "Who were you talking to?" Kayla stared at the mirror. "He followed me," she said. "He's everywhere." Elise left quickly. That was the last time Kayla would see her friend, because Elise died 2 days later, found drowned in her bathtub. Though there was no water, and Kayla knew, the mirror wasn't tied to the house. It was tied to her. Back in her car, Kayla looked into the rearview mirror. The boy was there, no longer bleeding, no longer crying. But this time, he wasn't alone. Her own reflection was smiling back at her and whispered, "You belong with us now." Kayla's haunting intensified. The ghostly boy in the mirror revealed his name. Tila Rand blamed her for letting him drown when she was 13. As more ghost children began appearing in the mirror, Kayla learned a horrifying truth. Multiple children had died mysteriously in the same area over the decades, all near mirrors. The hauntings followed her to a friend's house, and that friend later died under impossible circumstances. Kayla finally realized the mirror isn't tied to the house, it's tied to her. Kayla drove aimlessly for hours, haunted not just by what she'd seen, but by what she hadn't told anyone in years. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing, blocked numbers, whispers, one message after another. "You left me." Another, "You watched us die." And then, "Tell the truth, or we will." Kayla threw the phone out the window. It landed face up and lit up one last time. The screen displayed a photo taken just seconds before. Her, behind the wheel, and the boy in the back seat. It took everything in her to pull herself together. She returned to the town library, hoping anyone could tell her more about the deaths connected to the cottage and the mirror. That's when she found an old news clipping tucked inside the pages of a forgotten town history book. Local girl survives mirror. Curse claims it wanted my soul. The girl's name, Delilah Cross. Survived in 1998. Age at the time, 17 now. Possibly still alive. Kayla tracked her down through an old forum on haunted artifacts. Delilah hadn't posted in years, but there was a number. Delilah answered on the third ring. Her voice was slow, tired, like someone who hadn't slept right in decades. You shouldn't have looked in it, Delilah said before Kayla could speak. It feeds on guilt. That's how it finds you. Kayla froze. You've seen them, too. I see them every night. Some I knew, some I didn't. But the mirror knows what you did, Kayla. Kayla's throat closed. How do you know my name? You don't get it, Delilah whispered. Once the mirror chooses you, it becomes you. You're not seeing the dead. You're seeing the parts of yourself you tried to bury. Kayla drove 5 hours to meet Delilah in person. Delilah lived off-grid in a broken-down caravan surrounded by salt lines and smashed mirrors. When Kayla stepped out of the car, Delilah didn't hug her. She didn't even say hello. She just pointed to a cracked mirror hanging from a tree and said, "How many are with you now?" Kayla looked and saw them. The boy, the blonde girl, 2 others, and someone new, an older teen. Eyes blacked out. They're multiplying, Delilah muttered. It's feeding off your silence. Kayla swallowed hard. What do I do? Delilah's answer chilled her. You destroy the original mirror, but it has to be done the right way. According to Delilah, you couldn't just smash the mirror. If you did, you'd trap them inside, and yourself along with them. You have to face it, Delilah said. Confess to it. Admit what you did. Then, and only then, you burn it during the 317 window. Why 317? Delilah looked away. That's when my sister died. That's when all of them die. Same time, different years. Kayla returned to the cottage. The mirror was waiting. She sat in front of it, knees trembling. I'm sorry, she whispered. I saw Tyler drown, and I froze. I didn't call for help. I was scared. I didn't even try. The boy appeared, his face blank. I didn't want to kill you. I didn't mean to forget you. The blonde girl showed up next. Kayla's voice cracked. I don't even know your name, but I remember you. I remember you were crying. You followed me, and I didn't stop you. I just went inside. One by one, they appeared behind her in the reflection. The final one, the teen with black eyes, stepped forward and whispered, You remember me, don't you? Kayla's blood ran cold. It was her cousin Alex. She hadn't thought of him in years. When she was 15, Kayla's cousin Alex came to stay for a weekend. He was 17, charming, dangerous. He made her feel seen, heard, loved, and then one night, he tried to kiss her. She pushed him away. He laughed. The next day, he disappeared. They said he ran away, took his dad's car, and never came back. But Kayla remembered now. He didn't leave. He followed her into the shed. He begged her not to tell. She grabbed the heavy wrench, just to scare him. She swung. He fell, didn't get back up. She locked the door and never returned. The clock ticked. 3:12. Kayla stood in front of the mirror, gas can in hand. She looked at the boy, at the girl, at her cousin. I'm not running anymore, she said. If I burn with you, so be it. The mirror fogged up again. 4 words appeared. Then, tell the world. She lit the match. The mirror screamed. Literally screamed like children in agony. Flames erupted, unnaturally fast. But they didn't spread beyond the frame. just the mirror. Burning. Kayla fell to her knees, weeping, shaking, praying, and then silence. The mirror cracked, then shattered. Ash. Kayla woke up on the floor. Sunlight poured in. The mirror was gone. Not shattered, not burned, gone. She looked in the hallway. A clean white wall stared back. No soot, no ashes, just peace. She smiled. For the first time in years. She smiled until she turned around and saw herself in the reflection of the microwave door. Her reflection smiled back and whispered, "We're not done yet." Kayla met Delilah, a past survivor of the mirror's curse, who told her the only way to destroy the haunted mirror was to confess the buried truths that tied her to it. Kayla admitted to witnessing a drowning as a child, ignoring a lost girl, and killing her cousin in self-defense. 3 dark memories she'd locked away. At exactly 3:17 a.m., she burned the mirror, and it disintegrated into ash. Peace seemed to return, until she saw her reflection in the microwave whisper, "We're not done yet." Kayla didn't run this time. She stood frozen in the kitchen, staring at the smiling version of herself in the microwave door. It wasn't just a reflection, it blinked independently. A second too late, as if mimicking her instead of copying her. "Who are you?" Kayla whispered. The reflection tilted its head. "I'm who you were always meant to be." For the next 24 hours, Kayla tried to move on. She called a therapist. She burned sage. She washed every mirror in the cottage with salt water. She even started writing a confession letter she thought she might send to the police, just to purge what was left. But the reflection wouldn't go away. Every surface, microwave door, dark windows at night, even her spoon, showed not her, but that other version, the smiling one, the one who didn't flinch when she screamed. Worse. Kayla started to feel different, calmer, colder, less afraid, and she didn't know if that was healing or possession. She drove back to Delilah's shack, but when she arrived, everything was gone. No caravan, no salt lines, just a burned patch of ground where it had once been, and scratched into the dirt with what looked like fingernails. "I told you to confess, not to lie." Kayla stumbled back. "Lie," she muttered. "I didn't lie." But deep inside her, something churned, because she had. There was one truth she hadn't confessed. One secret, so dark, even the mirror didn't find it at first. It happened a year ago. She'd found out she was pregnant. Her ex Jared didn't want it. He pressured her to get rid of it, said they weren't ready. She booked the appointment, but she didn't go. She kept it a secret. But 5 weeks later, she miscarried alone in that same bathtub, and she never told anyone, not even Jared. She buried the ultrasound photo behind the mirror in her old apartment. She thought by forgetting, she could erase the pain, but the mirror never forgot. That night, Kayla woke to crying. Not a scream, a baby's cry, faint, muffled, coming from inside the walls. She pressed her ear to the plaster. Nothing. Then to the kitchen cupboard. Still nothing. Then the microwave door. And the reflection wasn't her anymore. It was a baby, curled in blood, eyes open, mouth wide in a silent scream. Kayla collapsed, sobbing. Her guilt crushed her. But the reflection stared without blinking until the baby's lips moved. "Why didn't you save me?" The final choice by morning, Kayla understood. The mirror wasn't feeding on fear. It fed on denial, on shame, on secrets no one else knew. And because she kept that one buried, it wanted her whole. She stood in the middle of the cottage with a hammer and a gasoline can, staring at the last mirror she hadn't touched, the one above the fireplace. She knew it wasn't the original anymore. The curse had evolved. Now, every reflection was a window. "You can't run," said her reflection, this time fully her, but not broken, not scared, stronger. "You can only become." Burning it all down, she struck the mirror once, twice. A third time it cracked down the middle. Black, Smoke bled out. Voices screamed. She poured the gas, lit the match. Everything went white. Kayla woke up in a hospital. They said a neighbor saw smoke, called it in. They found her unconscious, but alive. No burns, no injuries, no mirror in the rubble. Just a charred ultrasound photo clutched in her hand. They asked her if she knew where the baby came from. She said nothing, only cried. 6 weeks later, Kayla now lived in a new apartment. Fresh start, minimal decor, no mirrors. She worked at a bookstore, took long walks, smiled sometimes. But then, one evening, she walked by a storefront and caught her reflection in the window and stopped, because in the reflection she was pregnant. This wasn't just a story about ghosts or cursed mirrors. It was about what we bury, what we choose not to say, not to face, and how those things don't go away. They wait until you're alone, until you're vulnerable, until your reflection no longer looks like you. Kayla didn't survive because she fought back. She survived because she finally told the truth. But the truth sometimes comes too late. Kayla learned that the mirror's curse wasn't just about ghosts. It fed on unspoken guilt. She confessed to letting a child drown, ignoring a lost girl, and killing her cousin. But one secret remained buried: her miscarriage. She never told anyone, never grieved. The mirror did not just haunt, it consumed. After Kayla burned her last mirror, she woke up in a hospital, believing it was over. But 6 weeks later, her reflection in a shop window showed her something terrifying. She was pregnant again, but only in the reflection. Kayla didn't move. She stared at the glass. Her own face stared back, but rounder now, paler, and yes, unmistakably pregnant. But her stomach was flat. Her hands were empty. Her life had been ordinary, quiet, since the fire. So why did the reflection still lie? Or worse, was it lying at all? The next morning, Kayla tried to live normally, but things felt off. Subtle at first, the people at the bookstore began calling her cold and different. A child in the aisle burst into tears just looking at her, and Kayla couldn't remember what she'd done the day before. Her memories felt thin, paper-like, fragile that night. She stood in the bathroom, no mirror. She had removed them all, but when she glanced at the dark window, her reflection appeared again, smiling, pregnant, and whispering, "You gave me everything." The return of the dead over. The next 3 days, more strange events crept in. She received a letter addressed to Tyler's mother. The ultrasound photo, which had burned in the fire, appeared on her nightstand, unstained. Her phone rang from an old number, Delilah's, but Delilah was dead. Kayla picked up anyway. There was no voice, just breathing, then a whisper, "She's inside you now." The call dropped. Meeting the new Kayla, the reflection, her doppelganger, began showing up even in people's phones. In a friend's FaceTime call, in a stranger's selfie at the bookstore, same face, same voice, but not her. Worse, this other Kayla started interacting with people. She responded to texts. She showed up in videos. She spoke to someone on Kayla's behalf and got her fired. It wasn't just a haunting anymore. It was a replacement. One night, desperate, Kayla returned to the ruins of the burned cottage. Everything was ash and rubble now, except one thing, a standing mirror. Untouched, it was the original. Somehow, it had survived. The glass was perfect, no cracks, but it didn't show. It showed a room, a nursery, painted pale blue, rocking chair, toys. And in the chair sat her reflection, humming, holding a baby. Her baby. Kayla collapsed to her knees. "I lost you," she whispered. "I was scared. I didn't know how to love you." Her reflection looked up. "But I do." Then, the mirror cracked. The choice suddenly. Her own reflection stood in the mirror, facing her directly. "Let me live for you," it said. "You don't deserve it." Kayla shook her head. "I never meant to." Exactly. Her reflection interrupted. You never mean to. You just let things happen, then forget. But I don't forget. But I don't forget. I'm not you. You are. I'm just the version of you that doesn't run, that loves without shame, that carries the pain without burying it. Kayla stood up. Then take it. Take it all. Her reflection smiled. I already have. The mirror shattered into her. 1 year later, a woman lives in a small town now. Quiet, kind, soft-spoken. She smiles often, loves the sound of rain. She has a baby boy named Tyler. No one knows where she came from, but she always looks familiar. Sometimes, when people talk to her, they say they feel like she's not really there, that she's watching from behind her own eyes. The old cottage has been rebuilt. A new family moved in. Young couple, 1 toddler, baby girl on the way. They love the charm. There's only one original fixture left, the hallway mirror, and at 3:17 a.m. every night, the glass fogs, 5 handprints appear, and a whisper echoes down the hall. Tell the truth, or I will. Kayla's story was never just about horror. It was about memory, and how the things we bury don't stay buried. It was about grief, and how shame transforms it into something monstrous. But most of all, it was about truth. We think truth sets us free, but sometimes it replaces us, because when you live too long pretending you're someone else, something else steps in to live for you. So the next time you're home alone and you pass by a mirror, don't look too long, because the version staring back might be ready to trade places. The end.